Well, good morning. Grandpa Gary here, back on the Jag again. Today is going to be a little bit of a milestone. I'm going to be painting the boot lid, and this is the product today that I'm going to be trying. Spray Max 2K epoxy primer. It's kind of a test. I didn't want to spend the money on buying a full liter or two of epoxy primer. This is just to see how this works and trying to make things as budget friendly as possible. Although I will admit, this paint that I've never used before, this two-part paint is not cheap, but we'll give it a try, see how things pan out. So what I'm going to be doing, you can see the boot lid has been cleaned. It's been sanded and cleaned and prepped and scrubbed and everything. The idea here is to lay down some primer, epoxy primer, and I'm going to be fairing in here the lip that I folded over with the patch panel. I'll be after the primer is painted on, as laid down and dried and cured, I'm going to be fairing in with short strand Bondo, short strand fiberglass body filler. Actually, not Bondo, it's a different brand, but working that in and smoothing it out and blending it into the contour of the boot lid. Well, anyway, we're going to see how this all pans out. So I'm going to give the lid a final wipe down, and we're going to start to lay down this primer. I'm just giving the boot lid a final wipe down with lid-free cloth here and a shop towel, and going to wipe, go over it a couple times with the isopropyl alcohol. I went over the boot lid several times with Scotch-Brite and wiped it down, and then used grease and wax remover as well. I'm hoping this suffices. I'm not shooting for concours restoration work here. As I said before, probably in previous videos, this is supposed to be a daily driver, but that doesn't mean I want it to, you know, look kind of bush league. It's a budget friendly resto, I guess you could call it. I don't know how many times I've gone over this. I'm still pulling dirt off the metal. The more I go over it, the more dirt I keep getting. Well, not dirt, but material. And that, I don't know if you can see this, but still some material coming off the metal. Now today the temperature is just approaching 60 degrees Fahrenheit outside, and the humidity is quite high. It's been so far the weather has been off and on. We've had summer-like weather periodically, but I'm living here in northwest BC right now, the weather is has been damp. We've had quite a bit of rain. So insofar as laying down paint and such, it's been less than optimal, that's for sure. Okay, I'm going to mask up now, and in the meantime, this isopropyl alcohol will evaporate, and then we're going to lay down that 2K primer once I get it shaken up. So the idea here is to get this primer ready to apply. I'll be timing the coats to around 10 minutes. I'm hoping I can do recoats after about 10 minutes. Hopefully that's enough flash time. But I'll be watching carefully. If it doesn't look like it's actually flashing correctly, then I'll just add more time. But initially I'm going to try a 10-minute time period. I'll actually have a timer on just to compare flash times. So I need to be shaking this initially for a minimum of 2 minutes. Once I puncture the catalyst capsule, then that will require a further 2 minutes minimum of shaking time to blend it all. So anyway, I've laid down 2 coats of epoxy primer on the hood, the Spray Max epoxy primer, and it looks like with the temperature and the humidity it's flashing off after around 8 minutes. So it's actually flashing out quicker than I thought it would. And the idea today is I want to see how much coverage I get with 1 can of this stuff. And I won't be using it all over every part of the exterior of the car, of the Jaguar, but for small touch-up jobs and what have you, I think it might be a good alternative. But that remains to be seen. I'll finish the boot lid, and then we'll have a look at it and see what it looks like. Well, it looks like the can of Spray Max, 353 grams, 12.5 ounces, is good for 3 coats of primer on a roughly 42 inch by 40 inch boot lid on my Jaguar. And the pictures I've taken just prior to this video is the end result. There's a smudge on the lens. I noticed it looks like there might be some tiger striping or something wrong with the paint the way it laid down, but it's not. It's the camera. So anyway, how do I like it? Well, the Spray Max, first of all, this is the best rattle can paint I've ever used. The nozzle is exceptional, and the adjustable fan width is very very useful, and it works. It's in this instance approximately 1/3 of the way towards from the minimum fan width that you can get. I had initially a test of how that worked. I had it at minimum, and it was almost like maybe about 4 square inches of contact. So I went approximately 1/3 of the way up to maximum on the little dial on the push button, which is this. The adjustment is the red dial on the top of the push button there, and I got about a 6-inch fan width with about let's say 6 inches tall by maybe 1.5 to 2 inches wide, and I thought that was adequate, and it worked out quite well on the boot lid. Other things I noticed, well, the paint lays down, the primer lays down very, very nicely. If all rattle can paint was like this, it would be amazing. The nozzle, as I said, the nozzle is exceptionally good at control. Very high quality. As for the paint itself, as I said, it lays down very, very nicely, very smooth, very even, very controlled. Coverage is very good. I started off with a fairly light coat, and then a medium, and then I used up the last of the paint in the can on the final coat. And so that's what you get on, like I said, a 42-inch wide by approximately 40-inch tall rectangle, 3 coats. Would I buy it again? I believe I would. I have bought 3 cans. This is the first can I've ever used. So I have some other points on the Jaguar project that I'm going to be using this on. I would say one thing for sure: make sure you have a good respirator. I'm considering, I have a full face respirator, and I'm considering using that next time I apply this stuff. The respirator worked fine, and you need it. You're going to be killing brain cells by the millions if you don't use a respirator. It's dangerous. But also, I'd like to protect my eyes, so I think next time I use this, I'm going to be using the full face respirator. But that's it for now. I can't remember what I actually paid for each can. As I said, I bought 3 cans at once. This stuff isn't cheap here in Canada. Nothing's cheap in Canada anymore, and especially since the tariffs have come along. But I think the stuff's worth, the Spray Max products are worth the money. If you carefully use them and think your project through and how you can utilize it, it's probably worth it. But overall, if you're considering using this on a large area, a whole body or something, you'd go broke. Even though I can't remember what the paint actually cost. I know it's not cheap. Well, anyway, that's it for now. I can't think of anything else useful to tell you, so until next time, this is Grandpa Gary signing off.